Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the St. Louis podcast for June 30th, 2023. I'm one of your glorious hosts, again here by myself this week without Garrett Atkins. How'd the leg chop off go? Did we get word on he's recovering fine? Okay. Well, if you feel bad for Garrett, feel free and send him thoughts and prayers into his DM. He would enjoy all of those messages. But you got myself again here this week hosting the St. Louis podcast. Today we have Carrie Zehner on, creator of Carrie's Merries, and we're going to get into the weeds with her and her business. But before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast where each and every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop an episode on all major podcasting audio and video platforms, where we meet with the most badass creators and people to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and current events. You can watch the show live or later on youtube.com/the St. Louis podcast, just like Katie Baker and Mac Parker are right behind me currently. Now let's jump into it, Carrie. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. I woke up to power out at my building this morning, so that was fun. Wake up at 6:30. I was turning on the bathroom light to turn on the shower, and I lose all power this morning for about 2 hours. So that was other than that, good start. Good day.
We had a power surge at my house. It was only about a minute, but it was enough to shut everything down, restart it.
Was it this morning?
Yeah. Yeah, about 6. Yeah, it was about 6 something.
Are you out in Valley Park?
Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm at Doherty Fair in Big Bend. Apparently.
Yeah, same.
So apparently someone hit one of the transformers, the big green boxes on the ground, right by the bowling alley right there.
Gotcha.
So
I heard the fire truck. So
yeah.
I'm right up Big Bend by that bowling alley.
Okay. So that's why you lost power as well.
Yep.
Small world.
Yep.
All right. So we got again Carrie Zehner on, creator of Carrie's Merries, an award-winning Bloody Mary mix, winning numerous awards, as you can see on the table currently. Some of those through Drunken Tomato. She has a degree in marketing and traveled the world for various clients. While traveling, her biggest problem, I guess you should say, specifically when drinking, was really finding a good Bloody Mary mix. So she decided to make your own. So congrats on that. I love Bloody Marys as well.
Thank you. Thanks.
And I know we're going to talk a little bit about this. I brought up Zing Zang, and your face just went horrid.
Gross.
So I have something here. So your Bloody Mary mix, obviously we got a lot of different products. I'll allow you to talk about that in a second. But specifically the mix, San Marzano tomatoes.
You got it.
Added electrolytes, finished with a clean, crisp flavor. So let's go into what makes your Bloody Mary mix different than the rest.
Sure. Well, for starters, it is the tomato. That is the top of the line tomato. It's called the San Marzano. You pronounced it correctly on the first time. Most people do not. It's an imported Italian tomato. So I import them from Italy. They grow in lava at the base of Mount Vesuvius.
Interesting.
And the benefit of that is that they're less acidic. So I don't have to add any sugar. So it's a naturally low sugar mix, which in any tomato-based product, it's hard to find low sugar.
Yep.
When you start with a cheap tomato, you have to layer the salt and sugar to get that same effect. So you're drinking junk.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
That's just the tip top of Zing Zang.
So how'd you find the tomatoes? Did you just do research or?
I would make spaghetti sauce with them.
Okay.
It was a family recipe, and I'm like, why don't people use these for Bloody Marys? Because everyone complains about heartburn and acidity. And
I was just about to say, so you said acid. I have, I would say once a month I get bad heartburn. And red sauce is a definite major contributor. I'm from Sicily, but let me tell you, I get some red sauce on pasta, and I'm probably not feeling good afterwards, so it doesn't make any sense. So how it's just less acid, so you have to worry less about the side effects, I guess, of drinking a Bloody Mary.
Correct. So you're already drinking a less acidic tomato, but you're also skipping all of that filler.
Okay.
So between those two things is what gives that icky feeling.
Makes sense. So with your products, where can people find them? Obviously, your website, you said you're in retail now, though, so where can people kind of find that?
Sure. Schnucks, Straub's, Friar Tuck, Dogwood, a few restaurants around the area. Mellow Mushroom does a nice brunch bar on the weekends. It's really fun. Yeah, I have them all listed on my website.
Okay, check out the website. Perfect. So would you walk us through some of the different products that you have? Obviously, you got the Bloody Mary mix. We got the salt. We got Walk us through it.
Yeah,
What
sure.
do you got?
So I started with the mix. That was kind of the center of my business plan. And I wanted to create a garnish line so you could basically have a brunch in a box.
Yes.
But I also wanted the products to stand individually. So you can have the hot sauce without having a Bloody Mary. So I have the mix, I have the hot sauce, I have the pickles, beef sticks, and rim salt.
Perfect.
So the rim salt's good on salmon, believe it or not. The hot sauce is good on anything if you like a kick. It's Thai chili and habanero.
It's good. I have it in my Virgin Bloody Mary right now.
And that one I won a platinum award for. So
that's awesome. No, it's very good. Yeah, compared to Zing Zang, you are right. It's a world of difference. Now I'm gonna have to go throw the Zing Zang away at my house. That's upsetting.
Yeah, one at a time.
Right,
I'll take them down.
Exactly. So you have different boxes as well.
I do.
So you have just like the normal Bloody Mary box. You said the St. Louis box, which go into kind of those different boxes and how that, if someone is looking to purchase this, how that makes sense for them.
Sure. So I have Bloody Mary kits where you can buy different, mix and match your garnishes, and you always get a bottle of the Bloody Mary mix. The St. Louis kit is something a little bit different. What I wanted to do was create kind of not a meal kit per se, but something that you could take as a gift to someone's home if they just purchased a home. I had someone contact me about wedding out-of-town guests. They wanted to use it as a gift, like a welcome to St. Louis gift. So what I did is it's centered around the pork steak, because when people come to St. Louis, it's a very St. Louis thing.
Yep.
So you get a bottle of dry rub, barbecue sauce. You get 2 garnishes, pickles and hot sauce, and then you get what else is in there? My appetizer. So you get tasteachios.
Okay.
So he's a friend of mine. He does roasted pistachios.
Okay.
They're called tasteachios. They're really good. And then a dip mix. So you kind of have like some appetizers, your drinks, and then you can make your pork steak.
I feel like that's the biggest problem with like Bloody Marys is a lot of stuff goes into it.
Yeah.
But when you go to a store, you got to go to like 5 different aisles to find everything you need for a Bloody Mary mix. So definitely purchasing a box makes a ton of sense because you get everything you absolutely would ever need.
Exactly.
So before, you said you were marketing for, what was it again that you were doing beforehand?
I owned a company that manufactured parts for circuit boards.
And you said you were doing marketing strictly for a lot of those clients, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Business to business.
Gotcha. So how did that background really help you establishing your brand? Did that lend in credibility? That help you kind of figure out, how do I test this? How do I get this to market, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been a creative mind. I think that's why I graduated with marketing anyway. This was cooking is creative, and it's always something I did on the side. The graphic part of it, I have some help with the graphic side of it. That's the part that I struggle with marketing.
Sure.
Is I have a vision, but I need someone else to draw it.
Yep.
So I have an idea of where I want it to go, and if, I have a really great design company called Daily Design. They're here in St. Louis.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So you said obviously you couldn't find a good Bloody Mary mix. This was during COVID that you were like, screw the 9-to-5 corporate job. I want to do something for myself. Did you have other options that you were thinking about, or were you dead set on the Bloody Mary mix?
I was pretty dead set on it. I really was. It was something I was already doing. I had already, I guess, perfected the recipe. I hadn't changed it. I hadn't done anything with it. People seemed to like it.
Yep.
So what I didn't know is when you go to co-pack these, to be able to be on retail shelves, you have to have shelf life. And to get shelf life, you have to pasteurize it or add preservatives, junk, whatever. I didn't want that. So I chose the pasteurization route because I didn't have to add anything to the mix.
Okay.
Because it's all natural. But yeah, you go through this co-packing process and it changes your recipe. The flavors change. Once you go to put it in a bottle, it's very different. So it was about an 8-month process of re-perfecting my recipe.
Interesting. Okay. So why would you go, obviously it makes sense to go that route versus, preservatives. Is the preservative route cheaper?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, yeah.
So I would assume that's why most products would go that way then.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you pasteurize it, you heat it up to a certain temperature.
Sure.
And it has to be bottled within a range of that temperature.
Okay.
So it's called a hot fill. When you use preservatives, you can cold fill it and that opens up the options as far as like if you want cheaper plastics. And so that's how they lower the cost.
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting.
Junk,
Okay.
junk, junk, junk.
Right. Well, how long did it take you to get into stores? You know, that's usually not
Yeah.
the first avenue. Obviously, most people try and sell it through their website or,
Mhm.
you know, go into individual, maybe, you know, corner stores or whatever have you. But you said you got a distributor. So there's a lot of people I know that, you know, have different products that they sell online that maybe it makes sense for them to go that route. How did you go that route?
Go that route.
Yeah.
So I initially launched this thinking I was in the subscription box industry,
I was about to ask. Yeah. Okay.
the monthly subscription box.
So you no longer do that or still do? Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
I
Okay.
kind of had to stop. The shipping costs got out of control. A lot of things were getting broken.
Okay.
USPS is so short staffed, they weren't guaranteeing their breakages. And so it was just a money suck.
Yep.
I had to stop it. But I was doing subscription box every month. I would create something similar to the St. Louis box,
Yeah.
except I went around the United States. So I'd pick a city,
Okay.
figure out what was fun there, what was new there. You know, like ours is the pork steak.
Yep.
So I'd create a box around that city, and that would be the monthly subscription. So I did that for 1 year, and that was right after COVID.
Yep.
And and maybe I'll get back to it, but shipping is still crazy. So
That makes sense. So you're like, let's take shipping out of the mix. Let's just go to stores.
yeah.
Okay.
So it sped up my business plan a little bit. I just, you know, you gotta be flexible.
Yep,
So
yep.
I'm like, we'll put this on the back burner. We'll focus on retail now. And I just put my head down and went.
was it as simple as just reaching out to different distributors and like how does that process kind of work?
Sure. Like anything, how do I say this without really bad mouthing anyone? Like anything, there's good and bad in every
Sure.
industry.
Sure.
I had a distributor right off the bat, but they just weren't good. It was not
Yeah.
a good fit.
Got it.
So I went back to self-distribution for a year, and now I'm with Spirited Bluffs. They're out of Kansas City, and they're fantastic.
Perfect.
So it's like anything, trial and error until you find the right, you know, I want my brand represented in a certain way.
100%. Yeah.
So.
No, completely agreed. So is it just you? Do you have a team?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that day, but I would love to hire a social media manager.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All the listeners listen to that. Submit your resumes.
Yes, call me.
Yeah,
Please.
no, social media, yeah, it's something we were just kind of talking about it beforehand, how it's necessary for their business, but it's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain. It's hard. It's hard for me because I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not something I enjoy.
Yeah, there's
So-
plenty of people that do.
Right.
There's plenty of people that do. There's a ton of people that do.
And I'm not one to just like, you know, I don't do selfies and
Yeah.
I'm just not that person.
Yes,
So
I
I
understood.
need help.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's your next hire is going to be
It
that.
would be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you scared to take that first step of hiring the first person? Because that's like a big leap for most businesses. Businesses are like 90+% are just one person.
One person.
Yeah.
I believe it. It's not a I would love to relinquish this task. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
not a matter of like, oh, I have to take control of everything. It's I just got this new distributor 2 months ago.
Sure.
So I'm working out I just want to, when I do it, I want to do it right.
Yep.
I'm not trying to patchwork anything.
No, makes sense. Yeah, a lot of businesses move too fast and
Yes.
do stuff when they're not prepared to do
Yes,
so.
exactly.
So that's definitely the case a ton of times. Yeah, we run into that all the time, especially in marketing.
Yeah.
My God, it's like this is not what you need right now. Let's stop putting the cart before the horse.
Exactly.
So, are there any standout moments or achievements that you're proud of so far with your company? Obviously, we talked about these awards, but maybe
Sure.
anything more intrinsically?
Oh gosh, you know, there's so many little micro moments that just keep me motivated.
Mm-hmm.
But I do a lot of samplings.
Okay.
I go to Schnucks, I go to farmers markets. I do just watching people taste it and like watching their eyes light up.
Yep.
I'm like, it just warms my heart. I'm like, I did a good thing.
So do those seem like a good return on investment for you? Like doing those at like Schnucks and doing those tastes?
Yes.
I've
and
always been curious on
no.
that. Okay.
I've kind of cherry picked my good accounts.
Sure.
And I focus on them more because
Sure.
it's just me.
Makes sense.
But it's also a partnership. You know, you're supporting that manager there as well. If they're willing to support you, I'll support them. You may not see instant return on investment. Like sometimes I'll go sell 4 cases. Sometimes I'll sell half a case.
Right.
You know, you cannot predict the consumer public.
Sure.
And if you ever could, again, call me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because that's when you got it figured out.
Yeah, call both of us, please.
Right. So I can't say the return on investment is super high. It's just a necessary evil.
Makes
is
sense.
how I would put it.
Makes sense. Okay. Okay. So with building the brand, how do you engage and connect with your customers to build brand loyalty? In terms of, obviously you do the taste testings and things like that. But have you been doing a lot of other community engagement? Because really for something like this, obviously, probably the easiest way to get the word out initially.
I do a lot of charity golf events.
Okay.
Friends with Kids of Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll donate stuff to different. It's usually kid-oriented golf charity fundraisers.
Sure. Okay.
Around the area. I'll collab with different people, and farmers markets are what I picked up this summer.
Okay.
So that's been a different, because you got your tent set up. People are there to find local new things.
Mm-hmm.
So they come to you.
Which ones do you go to? Kirkwood or?
Kirkwood, actually, you don't have, they just sell stuff. You don't have to like set up every weekend.
Okay. So you could just go drop your products off and obviously I'm assuming they take a percentage or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I sell them wholesale and then they can mark up their margin as they choose. I can have a suggested retail.
Sure.
But yeah, they can choose whatever margin they like. Tower Grove Boulevard.
Okay.
I do on Sundays.
Okay.
So, but I didn't want to take off, more than I could chew.
Sure.
Bite off more than I could chew. So.
Sure. So, in your experience with just starting the brand, starting the product, and where you're at now, for people that are looking to start a business, or people that are maybe in the beginning stages of, focusing really on a product and kind of building that, what would you say is something that you've learned that they could implement, like starting right now?
It sounds cliche, but believe in yourself, because a lot of people aren't going to.
Yep.
It will severely show you who is on your team and who is not.
1,000%. Yeah, when you start a business, you'll know who your friends are real quick if you didn't know beforehand.
Exactly.
Anyone that doesn't root for you is not your friend. Exactly.
And they weed themselves out.
100% they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, we were actually just talking about that a couple weeks ago on the podcast, how, those, the naysayers and things like that, I mean, they're negative.
Yeah.
And they're probably just upset with their own lives. But what are you going to do? You can't help anyone. You can't help everyone, right?
That's right. That's how I take it. I'm like, hey, if you can't be supportive of me, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So is there anything that you're working on right now? Any new product, anything to add?
Right now, I'm actually going to switch up my pickle line.
Okay.
So I'm making some changes there. I may change some packaging for the Bloody Mary, make it more aluminum 6-pack kinds of things. But that's an entirely different bottling process than this is, a different co-packer. And that's the thing, too, when you try to move, you can take the same recipe and hand it to 2 different people, and it won't come out the same.
Yeah.
So when you find someone that does it right, it's hard to move.
Sure.
But he doesn't have the ability, packaging-wise, or the options, I should say, at this point. So it just takes time.
Are they planning on scaling that at the KC location? Maybe.
I keep putting a bug in their ear.
Okay.
It becomes a space issue for him, and he doesn't want to move his
Makes sense.
So.
Okay. Got it.
I can't mess with someone else's business.
Sure.
I can ask.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what we do as entrepreneurs, right? We push the boundaries.
We have to.
Exactly. I want something that's not already out there.
Mm-hmm. So how do you ensure that your products and brand stay true to your vision?
Well, right now with it just being me, it's been pretty easy. Having to say, you learn to say no. Like I just said about the recipe, I've had to tell co-packers, I'm sorry, we can't work together.
Yeah.
This is because they have purchasing power with certain ingredients. They want to supplement different things.
Where they get their products from. Makes sense.
I don't want to use lime concentrate, lemon concentrate. I want all natural juice.
Yes. Okay.
And they're like, well, that costs more. I'm like, who's paying for it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why is this an argument?
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter to you? Because they have the buying power and they want to keep their inventory down. So you run into some unforeseen.
Makes sense. Yeah, because so it mainly comes down to the actual products that you're using. And
it does. If I can't have consistency in my products, then we can't work together.
Yep, 100%. 100% agreed. So how do you stay ahead of the trends?
Oof, I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because it would just being me. I did a report 6 months ago. I think it was Bacardi put out a nice like what trends for 2023, and the Bloody Mary was number 4. So it's kind of like circling back around again, resurfacing as a popular cocktail. I try to read as much as I can.
Yep. So why do you think it's becoming more popular again?
Just from talking to people, older people, different generations, tomato juice always was served back in the 70s.
Interesting.
It was always an opening cocktail. You just, instead of like water, you'd have a tomato juice. It was just something that was always around. And I do think that it's starting to come back around again, like everything does. So.
Yeah. Well, my main thing is, don't give me a mimosa. I don't want a mimosa. Talk about heartburn.
Right.
Talk about heartburn. You got orange juice and champagne. Like that's no, I'm not a mimosa person. But most people my age don't like Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
They're like, what? They're like tomato juice and vodka. I'm like, you're basic, dude. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
You don't know what's in a Bloody Mary. So with that, what is in a Bloody Mary? Or what should be in a Bloody Mary?
What should be. So your standard Bloody Mary, no matter where you go, is going to be tomato juice, whatever that might be to them. If it's a mix, if it's V8. So you got your tomato base, vodka, hot sauce, celery salt, Worcestershire. And then from there, it's pretty subjective. You know, mine is, I have a little garlic salt in it. I have we didn't talk about this, a proprietary electrolyte blend. So Bloody Marys can get very salty very quickly with the Worcestershire and the rim salts and everything that you're dumping in it. Before you know it, you're drinking, straight salt.
Yes.
So I have a proprietary electrolyte blend, and what that means is, like, sodium is an electrolyte, but instead of all parts sodium, it's sodium, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and calcium.
Interesting.
So I naturally lower the sodium levels using minerals.
So that's in the mix?
Yes.
Okay. So that should also help with people drinking it because they're hungover too, correct?
That's kind of what I joke about. I'm like, if
there's electrolytes,
you probably need some electrolytes in your life. But once you add the vodka, it's kind of like your rehydrate while you dehydrate kind of situation. But I can't control how much vodka anyone puts in their drink.
That's true. So I've actually argued that the Bloody Mary is not only a brunch drink. I've had it for dinner, and people look at me. Actually, I shouldn't say I've had it for dinner. I should say an evening cocktail after dinner.
Yeah.
And people look at me like I'm crazy sometimes. Like Katie is literally right now. She's like, hell no. What is wrong with this guy?
No, I 100%
sometimes,
agree.
Especially if you've been drinking all day, a Bloody Mary at night. That's a good way to wrap it up.
It is. It very much is. And I don't really have a sweet tooth after dinner. I don't want cake, ice cream. Like, I want something salty.
Yeah.
I'll eat a pickle or whatever, but have a little shot of Bloody Mary.
You know what I've had trouble finding? I'm a big espresso martini person. Espresso martini mix. Why is this not a thing?
Well, maybe it can be. Let's chat.
It needs to be a thing. I hate going to, well, I guess the big thing is you need the espresso. I go to so many bars, though, they don't have espresso. It's so odd. And it's like, I don't know. You're a full bar. Shouldn't you have espresso?
Right.
Am I asking too much? I guess I am.
You push the boundaries.
I know,
All
right?
you can do is ask.
So let's hop into, actually, anything else you'd like to talk about, the products, kind of what you got going on at your business, anything you want to share?
Well, I think just the big one is the awards I just won. So
actually explain the awards to us if you would.
Sure.
Who are the
Drunken Tomato
who are
Awards.
those guys?
So it's an industry award. They're out of California. It's international. They've been around for about 6 or 7 years now. I think they started their awards. There's just a panel of judges that have, I guess they're influencers that fly to California, and it's a blind taste test. And I took gold for my mix, and I beat Zing Zang.
Nice. Good. Did Zing Zang win an award?
They got silver.
They
got silver.
Paid.
Well, I look at their ingredients label, and I'm like, you can get me down a rabbit hole on this one.
So what's in Zing Zang that's bad?
MSG, flavor enhancers, preservatives. Typically, any product, I don't even mean Bloody Mary mix. I mean just any product on the market will choose one one flavor enhancer,
Yeah.
one MSG.
Okay.
There's 2 disodium something that when you combine them together makes another flavor enhancer.
Okay.
Zing Zang uses all 3 of those.
So that's like 3 times as bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or more if it's exponentially worse.
Yeah. They claim that they're lowering the sodium, and MSG does do that. But you're adding a bunch of salt and sugar to a cheap tomato, dumping flavor enhancer on top of it, and now you just got a cup full of, I shouldn't say the word.
Yeah.
So it's just icky stuff. It has a good flavor.
I've been drinking Zing Zang for years.
I shouldn't knock it. I sound biased, I know, but
It's honestly because I haven't found one that I like better that is just easy to grab for the most part.
And they are, and they make it easy to grab, and I'll take them down to the lake with me. I do drink it. It's just I can only have one. I don't usually always like to have just one.
Yes.
So with Zing Zang, I can only have one because I feel gross.
Yes.
I feel icky.
Yeah, that is true. Well, every single time I go to a bar now and I get a Bloody Mary and I see them holding on to Zing Zang, I'm going to give them your contact.
Well, I appreciate that. A lot of bars, too, this is another reason I don't like the company.
Yeah.
They put bars under contract that no one else can be their rail cocktail.
I know quite a few places that I go to that it seems like they always have different Bloody Mary mix.
They probably make their own. Each bartender kind of comes in with their own skill set. So sometimes bartender wants to make it. Sometimes they're under contract with Zing Zang.
There's a restaurant I go to quite a bit, and they had some guy dropped a bunch of stuff off to them. I think last year. I don't want to talk shit on the brand. I don't even remember the brand name, but it was some of the worst Bloody Mary mix I've ever had in my life. And I'm not the only one that said it. They literally said they've handed it out for free to a bunch of people and no one's liked it. So
interesting.
Do restaurants have the ability for you to just be like, here's 2 bottles, see how people like it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That, and I've done that. It becomes don't spread yourself too thin. You're going to forget where you gave them because they're not going to be knocking down your door as long as you have the ability to follow up. So.
Just like sales, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Fair enough. Okay. So, all right. Did you already come out here, Matt? We're gonna cut to a little ad read here. We'll be right back.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE. Career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today, right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.
Now back to the show.
All right, and we're back at it. So we were actually just talking about hot sauce. So our office, we have, what's the hot ones? And so have you ever had hot ones? Like the hot ones challenge, you ever heard of that?
Is that where they bring on celebrities
Yeah.
and they eat the chicken wings?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
So you can buy the box, and we've bought the box at our office every year so far for like the past 3 years. 1 through 6 are like decent, but 7 through 10 are insanely hot. And we'll just throw them on some chips and just eat it. Like, I wish we still had the original video of hot ones because our old videographer set up cameras around the office and we were all just crying.
I'm sure.
Like it was brutal.
I think was Jennifer Lawrence just on it, or I just saw her episode. Oh, I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, no, the bomb number 8. If they still do that, that thing is the worst. You can handle pain if you can eat that hot sauce. Like literally, you're just on fire. Your whole body, your mouth is on fire. It doesn't matter how much milk you drink. Nothing makes the pain go away. Absolutely nothing.
See why? I don't get it.
But it's just I don't know why they even have those. It's definitely more of like a thing just to pull out and be like, hey, try this, and be like, that's ridiculously hot, and then put it back away. Like that's the
bragging rights.
That's
I
the
guess.
total use for that. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. My hot sauce is that's the extent of my heat tolerance.
So do you know what the Scoville is on that?
I think it's a 4. Oh, maybe I don't know. I said 4 one time, and someone went, no, that's not. It's a 4 out of 5 pepper.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't.
So Scoville is like usually, I think it's probably in the thousands if I were to take a guess, because like I forget the scale.
Well, I meant to look it up because someone else asked me that, and I'm like, I don't know that.
Yeah, so Scoville, let's see here. Let me pull up a picture and sound smart. So, okay. So the bell pepper is 0, obvious. A jalapeno is 5,000.
Okay, this is habanero and Thai chili.
Okay. Interesting. I don't see Thai chili on here anywhere. I'd assume, like I said, over 1,000 for sure. Red Tabasco sauce is $37.50.
That's it?
Yeah.
There's Tabasco in the Bloody Mary, like branded brand Tabasco.
Okay. So it's got some kick. I have it in my drink. I like it. All right. So moving over to some recent news. So with your marketing background, I wanted to hit on the Bud Light AB controversy. Let's bring it back up. It's been 3 months, a little bit over 3 months since the whole controversy with Dylan Mulvaney. They just relaunched their socials last week, I believe Thursday. And they're immediately getting hate off the bat right when they relaunched their social media campaign. But they went silent for 3 months. So number 1, did they handle it right? Number 2, what's going on? Why are people still upset?
Why are people still upset? I mean, that would have been my first question. I think going silent is not smart.
No.
I think you need to get ahead of it and own it.
Yep.
One way or another, just own it.
Yep.
So.
Well, anytime you hide, you look guilty, right?
Yeah. Yep.
If you don't say anything, you look guilty. So I don't, from a marketing standpoint, going on silent doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Because you're essentially just going to bed and wishing that your problem is not there in the morning.
Right.
You're not solving anything.
Exactly.
It's mind blowing. I don't understand it. And then I think they relaunched with something like it's just back to normal. Like they didn't say anything about it. It's
they
just
didn't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, back to normal marketing, which is just, I don't know. It's a very odd approach, but obviously, top down, it doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense to begin with either.
It doesn't. And this is maybe a little off topic, but I feel like our culture, our society as a whole is taking that approach.
Yep.
With everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't acknowledge it. It didn't happen.
Yep.
I don't live my life that way.
100%. Yeah. It's very odd. You know what I wish didn't happen, or I wish I could wipe out of my brain, but did happen, is this Titan submarine that just imploded.
Yeah, that was.
So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on this because I'm super curious about it. Matt, have you? You've been researching it. So it's essentially an eccentric rich guy that started this company that wants to go down and look at the Titanic in a vessel that is not built to go down to the Titanic. And it's not been like tested or stressed at those levels.
Right.
And the other thing is, I think they've been doing it for 2 years now. And it's well known in the sub community that these vessels, if you're going down that far, they only have a shelf life of so much. So you essentially have to recycle it and build a new one. That wasn't done. So they like missed, they built it. They went from like A to K and then skipped whatever to Z.
Sure.
And they just went down there. So there's like videos now being released of people, going onto it and they have issues while they're on the sub. They lose communication and like the CEO had no issues with that. They'll lose communication for like 6 hours. He's like, it's fine. They're driving with a PS3 wireless remote controller.
I was gonna say,
I'm
it's
just
a
like, what the
Nintendo
hell?
remote,
My question is, why are people getting in this? I don't understand.
I think when you have that amount of money, you know that you can buy any thrill.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that.
Think they're just bored?
Yeah.
They're just that bored.
I do.
There's so much money. They're just like,
I mean, think about the draw of it. Wouldn't you want to go down there and see a Titanic once in your life?
No.
Well, you're not an eccentric rich guy. I mean, what can I help you with?
I don't. I literally I can't wrap my head around getting in that thing with 5 people and being like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
The porthole is like this. You know what's
pitch
even more
black.
interesting? Going to YouTube and typing in the Titanic video and watching it from right here at this desk, and not putting myself for free and not putting myself in harm's way. So I don't get it.
It's just as riveting.
I know.
I don't understand it either. And I feel mostly sorry for the 19-year-old.
Yeah. Well, did you see that apparently his brother was supposed to go on it and stayed back for some concert?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Talking about a second chance at life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That gives you a new perspective.
Imagine the mom. I would
know.
be like, oh my God.
I know. That's
She's probably like, I fucking told him.
right.
She's got to be like, I told him, don't get in that stupid sub. This is the dumbest decision you made in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like it was, which is sad. That sucks for those people though.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming those riders didn't understand how sketch this actually was. Because if you just think you're getting in something safe, I mean, then maybe it's not an issue. But this thing was like glued on. Like, did you see the top portion to the actual like capsule was glued on? So there's a lot of like things about like how the carbon fiber could have failed there, the actual glue or the adhesive itself could have failed. There's just so many failure points in this thing.
And they fired the safety guy at some point, right? Like a year ago or something.
I think 2018 they actually had an insider talk about all of the issues, and then he got canned. Yeah.
I don't understand it. It makes me wonder if the pilot didn't want to have some sort of morbid reunion.
Yeah, I don't know if it was morbid. I think it was just the fact of he was like, I am so, narcissistic. I don't even know what the
Yeah.
word is. Like, he's just like, this product is amazing. I'm the CEO. No issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that, I mean, it cost him his life too. So,
Well, the fame also got to him because he thought he was going to be the next Elon Musk with
Right.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Like,
like
he wanted
Richard
to create
Branson
that.
for Virgin. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, you can't let that. You gotta stay clear to your vision. But man, listen to your advisors. Listen.
Yep.
You can't get blinded like that.
No. And like they had on the website that they were partnered with like I don't know, like Harvard and like these different colleges, but the colleges and universities really didn't have anything to do with the actual design portion. They kind of lied about it and they just had some sort of agreement but never worked on it. So they're almost using it as like, oh, we're backed by, Harvard, but Harvard really didn't have anything to do with it to begin with.
Mm.
So it's very slimy. I don't know what else to say about it besides that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, may never know.
But also, that trip only costing $250,000. I mean, you should have known. That trip should probably cost more. I watched a video. It's like a 9-day, it's like a 10-day excursion because you got to drive like 5 days out on boat to it, go down, go up, then 5 days back.
But did you see the size of it?
Yeah,
It was like the size of a minivan.
I know.
No beds, no bathroom.
Ugh.
No. But they have like all these employees. Like, so this guy just released a video that actually went on it like a couple weeks ago, like last week, I think. And they had weather issues. So he actually didn't go all the way down on mission 3, I think it was. This was mission 5. And he released a video. They have a ton of employees on this boat. Like they take a massive boat out to this area. So for 4 people, I mean, maybe even 4 people paying $1 million, they're not making money on that trip. So I'm thinking this is all just a test to eventually get to the point of like, it's an actual commercial company where it's like an elevator, just up and down, back to the Titanic.
A lot of people think it's like a conspiracy. That like these rich billionaires like had a reason to disappear, and so they paid this money. Like people are thinking that they like didn't actually die. Because you know how they like heard stuff like for several days. They like heard thumping underwater when they were looking for them.
I think that they found a reason for that. I believe. I don't know. I saw some dude talking about how there was a bunch of sharks around the area. I don't know. He's some megalodon guy on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good video.
Yeah, it imploded, so their bodies probably did. But what if they didn't, and they're actually rescued? And we just will never know.
We'll never know.
Why would Stockton Rush be in on that? That ruins his company, though.
Or maybe we're talking about it.
Maybe he was paid off.
Maybe he knew it was going down anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. Maybe they found Atlantis. You never know. That's what they did. They found the lost city. All right. So Titan submarine. Yeah. Interesting stuff going on there. So Putin and the Wagner Group. I know you said you didn't know a lot about this. I mean, really, neither do I, but I just wanted to bring this up real quick. Apparently, so the Wagner Group is like a paramilitary organization for Russia. The guy that ran it or runs it was Putin's best friend. Obviously not the case anymore, I would assume, because he marched 25,000 troops to Moscow for what was it, like a day or two? 2 days, ended up stopping. They signed some sort of deal with Belgium, right? Something like that. And then, stopped essentially their advance towards Moscow and retreated back to wherever I forget what part of Russia, the southern part of Russia that they stay at. But this news overtook everything, like for 2 days. Like that's all, any news station, it was all everyone was talking about. So it leads me to believe one of three things. It was, potentially an inside thing just with Russia. So just a Russia internal conflict. But with how much news we got about it, I don't know if that makes any sense. Or NATO has something to do with, obviously, the Wagner Group, because the Wagner Group, private paramilitary organization, they'll take money probably from whoever. So if NATO is like, or NATO, United States, whoever, Ukraine, so they're like, here's some money. Maybe they start marching in as well. But you said that they came to some sort of deal, Matt, with like...
Yeah, so I looked it up right now. As of 4 hours ago, it is actually being disbanded. So the paramilitary group Wagner does no longer exist.
Really?
Yes. Well, you knew it was going to happen, right? Again, you don't
that guy got
double-cross anyone in Russia and hope to get away with it. But yeah, originally they were supposed to come to the table. There was going to be two leaders of the Russian government that were going to get replaced.
Yeah.
And that was going to end the entire coup, revolt, whatever you want to call it. I'm guessing that's no longer going to happen since that group no longer exists.
Interesting. Huh. Well, I mean, it makes sense. You stand up to, Russia. Usually those people don't have good endings. So very interesting. Yeah, some. Well, the biggest problem with that was everyone was freaking out about, because obviously I think they have more nukes than anyone else. So you got Wagner, the guy of the Wagner Group coming in and taking over. Then you got someone that's significantly worse than Putin taking over, which would not be good. And I guess we're glad that didn't happen then. So thank you, world, for not allowing that to happen. So also in St. Louis this weekend, and it seems like we never really bring up good news about St. Louis. I'm going to try and change this starting the next podcast, but it always seems like some shit's going on that we just need to figure out. So the Grove, there was stabbings and shootings this weekend.
So terrible.
It was just like this, the last big holiday, Cinco de Mayo. We just talked last week about how people are scared to go downtown, and we were pretty much calling them wussies, but every single week I come on this podcast, something goes on, and then I start to think to myself, maybe these people are onto something.
Mm-hmm. I was supposed to have a booth down there, and I chose not to.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't want to live in fear. I'm just trying to live in reality.
Yep.
That it's scary.
Yeah.
You won't ever see it coming.
No.
So.
No, especially if someone's fighting right next to you. It's usually your collateral damage.
Yep.
Because that's how it always is. There's some sort of fight breaks out. Somebody pulls out a gun and just starts shooting, and hopefully you're not standing next to that person. Otherwise, it's going to be a bad day for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because we were just talking about what you said. Katie was saying that Ballpark Village is just a sketch now. But I don't see a lot of news coming out about issues at BPV.
I would say it's not as bad just because they have like metal detectors at every single door and you have to take everything out of your pockets and everything. But
they also have a lot of cops down there.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Well, I went Saturday and there was a huge MMA event. So there was ambulances, security, police, everything. We didn't even know what was going on. We just walked in.
You went down there for the Cardinals game?
No.
They play the Cubs though on Saturday.
Okay. I don't follow baseball literally at all. And we also suck. So
we're 30 and 46, I believe.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, it's not great. It's not great, which is why I said there's not many good things to talk about in St. Louis.
I just went down to party. And
what time did you go down there? Because the game was from 12 to 4, I think.
Oh, no. We went down there at 8 and ate dinner, and then we went inside. And they had the MMA ring in the middle of Bali.
Oh, so there was an actual MMA
yes,
event.
Full blown.
Interesting.
People had to have tickets to get chairs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And this was in the Bally Sports upstairs?
Downstairs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But there was people all upstairs watching it. But it was all people from St. Louis. There was a fight with two guys. One guy was from Wentzville and the other one was from East St. Louis.
Interesting.
Guy from Wentzville won.
I was just going to ask, who was the winner?
We were shocked. But he won.
Interesting. Was it just one? It wasn't just one person, right? They had multiple fights.
No, there was a girl fight, couple guy fights. We didn't stay for the whole thing because we got bored. But.
Yeah. Sometimes not non-professional MMA and events like that. It could be better.
Yeah.
It's not the UFC. It's definitely not the UFC. Well, that's all I got for today. Is there anything you'd like to share before we hop off here?
Wow, no. I mean, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I converted you from Zing Zang.
Yes, that's right. I know. I need to. I think there's a Schnucks right up the street, so I'm going to go buy some immediately after this. Website. What's your website? Where can people see you?
Yep, website. So it's Carrie's Merries, www.carriesmerries.com.
Perfect. Go there. Again, go to any of the spots that she talked about that she has her product in. And as well, again, social media, send your resumes. Now, with that said, that's all the time we have. However, the St. Louis podcast will be back next week at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time with a new episode, new guest, and potentially maybe just myself again. We'll see if Garrett decides to come back. He might have to get that other leg chopped off. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live or later and we said something wrong, said something you hate, or said something you want to hear more about, you can visit us at the stlouispodcast.com. Leave us a message. Feel free to DM myself, Katie, Matt Parker, or Garrett. Feel free to message him as well. Finally, this episode was recorded at Half Coast Studios in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're looking to start a podcast or take your current podcast to the next level, whether you're local to St. Louis or not here as well, reach out to them at halfcoaststudios.com. You have the pleasure of speaking to Alex Dietrich, who is one of my business partners at my marketing company. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Carrie, and a pleasure hosting this podcast for the people of St. Louis. We'll see you again next Friday at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Goodbye.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you, the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE, career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. Right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.